Hello, guys. Welcome to the Final Whistle. Today we are going to try and get our channel back on the way. We've took quite a bit of time. There's been quite a bit of slop on the channel. We just want to keep it with me, you, and discussions about everything going on. And today we are talking about, of course, Liverpool Football Club and how things are going, things have gone. And yeah, it's just not been the best time for the football club this season. It's been a poor season. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to test that to see if you can hear me properly. Give me 1 moment, guys. 1 moment. 1 moment. Yeah, you can hear me. That's good. So yeah, we're going to talk about all sorts of things: the overall form, the consistency of the team, the injury crisis at times, the set piece fragility, the midfield imbalance, underperformances, the vulnerabilities in defence overall, attacking bluntness, wastefulness, Mo Salah, of course, squad integration and adaptation. We've got loads to talk about. So the first thing I put on my list, because I made a list, was the poor overall form and inconsistency. So the winless runs in the league, multiple defeats, sharp drop from last season's winning standards with the team as miles away as they are. So a little bit on form, of course. It's hard, isn't it? Because we seem to go on these unbeaten runs, which is great. But we don't win many games. We draw a lot of games against teams that we shouldn't have drawn against. Let's go back to the Champions League this week against Galatasaray. It was one of them games, wasn't it? It was atrocious. We didn't we had so many quality chances and we didn't take. And it's just so inconsistent. The squad is so inconsistent. The players are inconsistent. I don't think, for instance, Alexis McAllister, he's been very inconsistent this season. He is very far away from what he was last season, which is a worry. But also, looking at the midfield and how it's structured at the moment under Arne, there isn't really any structure. And there's so much space between the defence here and the midfielders here. There's a massive gap in the middle, and a lot of teams are taking advantage of that. And that is, again, part of the inconsistency because there isn't any consistent control from the Liverpool side in that moment. And allowing that much space in the midfield is criminal, absolutely criminal. And it's just beyond devastating, isn't it? It really is. And like I said, we can win a couple of games and then we lose a stupid game. Same as this last 3 games, for instance, are proof of it. We lose 1-0 against Wolves. We then go against Wolves again 3 days later, beat them 3-1. We then go against Galatasaray and we lose 1-0. So loss, win, loss, no consistency. Let's move on anyway from that. We're going to go to the injuries. We've had some heavy injuries that probably do make some effect on things. Of course, Alisson ruled out recently, although Mamardashvili came in and against Galatasaray, he was really good. There was a couple of moments where he pulled off some really good saves that could have resulted in them being maybe 1, 2, 3 up or whatever. Mamardashvili was really good. Wataru Endo, of course. We haven't seen him much this season. McAllister's been out at times this season. And, of course, Alexander Isak, probably the biggest injury we've had this season. We had Wirtz out recently, didn't we, for a little while, not too long. But the Isak one, the situation, of course, that's not really going to be helpful when, of course, Ekatike has hit the ground running. He's had a really good season. But there's not really a backup to him, if that makes sense. Despite all the, all the spending in the summer, we didn't really have a backup for him because Isak obviously got a longevity injury. I don't think his preseason helped him, to be honest with you. That was a really poor pre-season because he refused everything. He might have got his move to Liverpool anyway if he had just been, played the game, trained with Newcastle, played for Newcastle in friendlies or whatever. He probably still would have got his move. But that is something that hasn't helped with form, because when Hugo Ekitike isn't on form, like he wasn't really against Galatasaray, we didn't have that option to then go, all right, well, let's throw Isak in. We can't do that. Hopefully he'll be back next month. Hopefully. I've got on here set piece defending fragility as well. We're very fragile with that. We got better since we've sacked the set piece coach. We have got massively, and I mean massively better. Percentage wise, we are a lot higher in converting from corners. We are a lot higher from defending corners, like stopping goals from corners. We've been miles better. It's been much, much better from a Liverpool perspective, to be really honest with you. But I did have defending fragility from corners and set pieces on there because it has been, this season has been poor. But like I said, they've improved massively the last few weeks because the set piece coach was clearly a lot to do with what was happening. And they hired him from Southampton, which after the season they had last year, why the hell are we even looking at that? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I've got here as well, I've got midfield imbalance and underperformance, widely called out as a big problem, which it is. Lack control, creativity, cover, and contributes to defensive and transitional issues. Yes, massively. As I was discussing just earlier, we have this major gap between defense and midfield, and sometimes the midfield is so, I don't know, so jumbled, so all over the place that we don't really understand, where that's going to be. We don't know because there's two midfielders over this side. Say this screen right now is a full pitch. You've got two midfielders over here and one's over here, and there's this sort of a gap in this middle space here. It just doesn't make sense. Let's do my phone as the pitch. So this is the pitch. Midfielders are supposed to be sort of across here. We have them here. We have them here. And we have one here. And this gap in the middle here is huge. I'm watching NRL, look. That imbalance is costing us a lot of games, a lot of points as well, because there just isn't that cover from when they transition. When the opposition transition from defense to attack, they're straight through the midfield, like a knife through butter, because it's so frustrating to watch. Also, the lack of control we've had. I watched a little bit of the game last week because I knew how painful it was going to be. And like Gravenberch, for instance, when he's trying to pass the ball, sometimes it's so sloppy, it's under hit, or it's hit over, or it's gone too far to the left, too far to the right. Simple passes, simple moments, which they haven't been able to do. Alexis McAllister, for instance, has been definitely underperforming this season on a whole compared to last season. The whole team has, but midfield-wise, we need to get more control. We need to keep the ball. We need to move the ball quicker and better than what we have done. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. So I've covered the contributing defensive and transitional issues with you. I've covered that. Defensive vulnerabilities overall, I've got on my list as well. Leaky at the back, one of the worst records for a reigning champion at this stage, and that is as of now, so March. With the fragility exposed in open play and counters despite possession dominance at times. We do keep the ball a lot. We manage to hold the ball for quite some time, 60% possession, 70% possession, sometimes hovers between. But when we lose the ball, it's same as, for instance, Wolves. When we dominated Wolves, we lost the game. We dominated, we kept the ball, we moved the ball not brilliantly, as I previously just spoke about. But then Wolves get the ball, they counter, and then they have a chance, and bang, it's a goal. And that vulnerability is cost us so many points this season, so many games as well. It's been horrendous. And yes, one of the worst records as a reigning champion at this stage of the season, which to me is unacceptable. You can't go from winning the league last season to what we've seen this season. How? Like, how can you do that? But yeah, defensive vulnerabilities, I don't need to talk too much about that. One thing I would say is the creativity from that defense with Robinson has been fantastic. Robinson was pretty good in that FA Cup game. I say pretty good. But we do, on that right-hand side, dare I say, we missed Trent's long ball in transition. We do. Now, moving on, we have the attacking bluntness and wastefulness as well. The lack of spark, guile, and finishing efficiency. Players underperforming in XG, creating chances but failing to convert. For example, that game against Galatasaray, really poor. This will transition as it well into the next topic. But we have so many attacking talent. We have so much attacking talent. We have so many players that can make a massive difference in this team. But sometimes when we get them chances, we just don't make the right decision. The amount of times Salah's got the ball, for instance, on that right-hand side, and he can just pass it to Florian Wirtz, who can then probably hit it in the back of the net. And he doesn't. He takes the shot instead. It's very frustrating. Gakpo the same. Gakpo plays a lot on the left-hand side. He gets the ball, he cuts inside, he shoots. Yes, some of them have gone in, but a lot of them, 7, 8 out of 10, will go over the bar, go wide, wasteful. We don't make the right decision. They have to make the right decision. You get the ball in the attacking area, make the right decision. That's going to cut a lot of this wastefulness off. They've just got to make the right decision. Pass the ball. If there's a pass on, pass the ball. If it's in the 6-yard box, you pass the ball, hit it in the back of the net. Why try and take the chance of that shot when it's selfish and it don't go in and it misses? What do you do in that situation? That takes me a little bit to Salah's forms. Of course, a significant drop-off from last season, underperforming XG, fewer goals despite the involvements, and impacting heavily amid the contract speculation as well. Of course, a lot of talk about him potentially leaving this summer. My opinion, I can probably see it happening. We slowly need to look at pulling away from Salah. And that doesn't mean a disrespect, because he's probably one of the biggest legends, easily top 3 legends of the football club, because he's done so much for the team, so much for us as fans, so much for the sacred field of Anfield. So, we can't go on about that, but his form has significantly depreciated this season. We know that. And as I was just saying, when they're in attacking, it's about making the right decisions. Salah's made a lot of the wrong decisions. To me, he's probably made more wrong decisions this season than he has right ones, which is very disappointing. Squad integration, adaptation, struggles as well. Big money signings not fully bedding in. Tactical mismatches, fitness issues, hindering the pressing and overall effectiveness. I don't think we press very well under Slot. I don't think we press no way near what we did with Jurgen, unfortunately. As for some of them not bedding in, it took, for instance, Florian Wirtz. Once he's got going, he's phenomenal. The first few game weeks, it was tough because he wasn't. Obviously, it's a different league, different country, but it took him a while to bed in. I think that with Kerkez as well. Kerkez was, a little hot-tempered towards the start of his Liverpool career, but he's bedded in quite well now. They have started to bed in really well. My only worry and concern is when Isak comes back, will he bed back in? How will he bed in? Ekatike has been on form. Will Isak come into the team? Will he start on the bench? I think he will start on the bench. because obviously the fitness, and there's not much that to play for this season, let's be honest, depending on what that next result will be against Galatasaray. Tactical wise, not been good. Like, that makes me yawn. It's boring. We've not played great football, in honesty, and this whole perception of the Premier League is moving to set pieces and long throws, corners, etc. is boring. We've seen this week in the Champions League, a lot of English clubs losing this week against opposition from Spain, opposition from France, opposition from Turkey. That style of football does not work in Europe. It's stale. We need to start playing football again. I know we can't go back in time, and we can't go back to the 2000s, the 90s, but really wanting to play football. Set pieces, of course, we've spoke about. And of course, now we mention one man in particular who we haven't spoke about, and we know who that is Arne Slot. Arne Slot. Oh dear, where do we begin with Arne Slot? I'm not going to make too many controversial statements on it. I just think that he has to do better. He has to find a system that works properly. I don't think we have a system right now, especially in that transitional period from defence to attack or from attack to defence. We don't seem to have a structure within the squad at the moment for that. A couple of big decisions he's made. I think not playing Rio and Gamoa more is come back to bite him a little bit. I don't think he's got that one right. I think with Salah, the situation, yes, he dropped him. When you think back, rightly so, because his form was poor. But who do you put at the right wing? The Harvey Elliott decision, I don't think that was a great decision to sort of move Harvey Elliott out of the club, especially now he's not getting much football and things like this is going on. But I've not got much to say on Arne Slot. I really haven't, apart from that it's boring football. It's clueless football. I remember that pre-season video we see in one of the games where the passing was just like boom, 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 like dominoes. It was incredible. Where's that gone? That's what I ask. A lot of reports that they are committed to Arne Slot. But where's that contract then? Is what I've got to say. He was in contract talks, that got suspended, but you still back him. But you don't, because the contract talks have stopped. So that tells me it's an insecurity that they may think that Arne Slot can't carry us forward. Because how can you say you're committed to him if you pulled the contract off the table? To me, that's how I think on it. You can't tell me you're committed. You can't. If I was to, I don't know, how do you do a real life example of that? I don't know. Anyway, you can't, the reports of them being committed to him, I don't believe them. I think that is just try and curb the chaos or the noise outside of the football club. I think maybe the likes of Ornstein has been told they need to brief this. Other journalists as well, you need to brief this because the noise is getting a lot. It's going to affect inside the club, so we need to calm it down, etc., etc. But I don't believe, like I said, I don't believe they back Arne Slot at all. I think they back him at the moment, yes. But I think summertime could see change. It could see change because why would you take away the contract offer on the table and suspend the talks if you backed him? It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you do watch this far or even seen any part of this video. Remember to drop a like. I will be back for some more. Do drop a subscribe. I will try and do more of these type of videos, game previews, etc. And I will see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.